Hello, welcome to CripChat, your weekly podcast on everything disability. With us today is Ashley Olson. How are you?
Hi, good to be here.
So, can you tell the audience a bit about yourself?
Yeah. So I have a spinal cord injury. I was paralyzed when I was 14 years old in a car accident. And well, it was a big car accident. My dad was killed in it. My mom was crippled. My little sister had minor injuries. I died a couple of times throughout the experience, and but somehow survived. I survived and wanted to be here. And I after I was in a car accident, I worked really hard to get an academic scholarship to the University of Southern California, and went to college there. And after that was working, and at the same time was building wheelchairtraveling.com, because I love to travel, and I grew up hiking a lot with my dad and my family. And even after, now being in a wheelchair, I still wanted to be outside, somehow, some way, even if it was a short trail, even if it was just, a nice patio. I wanted to know some cool places where I could be outside. So I started a website, wheelchairtraveling.com, and wanted to document, hotels and trails and things for people in wheelchairs to do all around the country and world.
Where have you been traveling, and if you had to go anywhere, where would you go? And there's no pressure to say Australia.
Yeah, I love Australia. Australia is really cool. I was actually able to go to Melbourne, but that was just, one area out of Australia. Is huge. There's so many amazing things to do in Australia, so many cool outdoor things to do in Australia. So, and I have some friends there, so I definitely want to go back in general to, see more of Australia, definitely. But I'm very happy that I actually got to see Melbourne, though, because Melbourne was a very cool city, very cool city on the coast. And right before that, I was in New Zealand, which was also amazing, absolutely amazing, and very, very accessible, more accessible than I ever imagined. It was really incredible looking for hotels and calling hotels and emailing hotels and saying, okay, I'm in a wheelchair, I need access, I need a roll-in shower, and they knew exactly what I needed. It was so easy to book travel. I was just I don't think really I've planned a trip so easily like than going to New Zealand. Like I could find the hotels that I needed to be at. It was really great. But yeah, so those are two. Yeah, New Zealand was amazing. Japan was also absolutely amazing. There's so many places in the United States and then in North America, Canada, Mexico, that are absolutely incredible. So where do I want to go? I still want to go to, I'm Swedish, so I still really want to go to Sweden, and I'm Scottish too. So those are like my two countries that I want to go to, just because, I have some of that nationality. And I definitely still want to go to lots of places in Southeast Asia. A lot of places that I want to explore there. So yeah, pretty much Australia and everywhere around there. I would really love to travel there.
Well, if you ever come down this way, please look us up.
Yeah, I'm bummed that we're just meeting for the first time. Do you know Martin Hang from Lonely Planet?
No,
Oh,
but
you should have him on. You should have an interview with him too, because he used to work for Lonely Planet and then he became paralyzed.
you could get us in
Yeah.
contact.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I guess traveling around the world, what have you kind of taken from each place and which I hope America could be a bit more like this, or maybe in reverse.
I definitely still think that there needs to be good transportation available to people who use wheelchairs in different countries, because there's a lot of areas where there's maybe not even a bus and there's not a train, and so there's no way of getting around besides having your own transportation, and that gets complicated sometimes. It's nice to have some kind of public transportation somewhat available to you. So that's definitely really important. And I definitely I always look at just how I'm able just to navigate the city in general in my wheelchair. Are there good ramps? Do I have to really wheel around for a while until I find the best accessible route, or am I able to just go where I please, just like anybody else, so to speak? Of course, I'm not asking for miracles, but within reason, the flow of traffic, being able to get around a city is really good.
What's your kind of approach in researching somewhere you want to travel to?
Well, it's gotten so much better now. It's gotten so much better now. I mean, I remember I started my blog in 2006, and at that time there were just some very old school blogs where you would literally have to scroll through every single thing that somebody wrote in order to find what you were looking for. And I was just like, I don't have time for that. Like, I want to be able to say I want to go to New Zealand, or I want to go to San Francisco, and just find information that way. So I kind of set a really good website up in that way. And now, like, there's a number of bloggers throughout the world, which is fantastic, because one person cannot cover every place in the whole world, of course. So it's really good that other people have been stepping up, sharing their own voices, sharing their own experiences, because maybe what I want to do is going to be different than what you want to do, is going to be different than what my neighbor next door wants to do. Everybody has slightly different agendas and how they want to travel. So but when I plan for travel, I mean, I always just think of, okay, I need to know how I'm going to get around, and then of course, if I can figure out, okay, I'm going to be able to get around somehow and see what I want to see, once I actually get there, then I start, okay, is there accessible hotels? Okay, and then I start looking for wheelchair accessible hotels. And then it's nice not to plan absolutely everything. I mean, I usually plan a trip where I have maybe a number of hot, like 10, items that I really want to do, depending on how long I'm there. But I'll have, a couple things that I really want to do. And then I kind of let the destination speak for itself, and I let the locals tell me, like, okay, like what's cool, like what am I missing, what should I really go see, and kind of let the travel experience
Okay.
take over. It's fun.
On that, can you briefly tell us about some people you met during your travel?
Oh my gosh, so many, so many. I mean, I've met really cool wheelchair like people like on my travels, and other people with like various disabilities, people who are blind. Um, Even just recently, when I was in New Zealand, I was hiking on a trail, and there was a gal who just survived breast cancer, and she was just like, I beat it, I'm alive, I'm here, like, yeah. And I love traveling and meeting people, definitely. I remember actually when I was in Japan too, I ran into this family. They didn't speak English, very well, but we could communicate enough. And I really wanted to go to this one particular shrine, but there was no transportation there. And so I was like, okay, like no big deal. And they're like, no, we want to drive you there. And even though we didn't really speak the same language, I don't know, there was something about their energy that was really great. And I got in the car with them and their son. And we drove to this one attraction. We got popsicles. We listened to La Macarena over and over and over again. Do you remember that song?
Yeah.
La Macarena.
Don't see it
And it was so fun.
or you get me doing
Say that again.
it.
What?
Don't see it or you get me doing it.
Oh yeah, like I don't remember exactly how to do it, but yeah, the Macarena. The Macarena, right?
So
It's
I
no,
guess,
it was okay. So it was this really funny song in America that had like a dance to it. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah. And so
I
this
know.
little kid was playing it over and over and over again in the car. It was his favorite song. This little boy was like, I don't know, like 10, 11 years old or something like that. But
So tell me throughout your travels, have you observed places which do accessibility really well, or places which you think could learn from other places?
oh yeah, I mean there's definitely places that have a lot of learning to do. I've been to some really old cities in America. Like I remember going to Savannah, was one, and even though there were some really old buildings and sidewalks and whatnot, they definitely could have made things a lot more accessible. There was definitely some really funny things that made no sense to me. Like they actually made in their museum, they made a wheelchair accessible bathroom. And I went in there in my manual wheelchair, my tiny manual wheelchair, and I could not close the door. The sign, the bathroom door had a big, wheelchair sign on it. We're handicapped. No, I could not close the door. So there was definitely some funny things like that where, I don't need to necessarily go through, the front entrance. I'm fine with going through this on the side or even the back or whatnot, but like just get me in the building somehow, like just find a way to get me inside, it's fine.
I,
Um,
have you ever had any mishaps with your wheelchair or equipment?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think a really good tip would be if something does go wrong with your wheelchair, and this isn't, of course, every single thing, but surprisingly, bike shops have a lot of very similar equipment, or at least compatible equipment, that even though it may not work, as perfect as, your custom made wheelchair part, you might be able to find something that works, just well enough, that will be able to either get you by or, will save the day. So yeah, bike shops are really good in that case. I mean, I have gone to other type repair shops, but bike shops are definitely the best. And then in terms of airlines, of course, yeah, I've definitely had my wheelchair messed up on the airline, and definitely important to file a formal complaint, even though that is a very weird situation still, where the airline companies have so much power and control that there's not going to be a lot done. But we've been gaining momentum, and things have changed because people have continued to file complaints. So if you don't say anything,
But,
then nobody knows there's an issue.
but I guess if people stop pushing for change, change won't happen.
Yeah. Yeah,
Am
you
I
gotta,
right?
yeah, yes. Yeah, you gotta raise your voice. You gotta be like, this is weird, like this isn't right. Instead of here's a good example. This is simple and just in my own hometown. So I have a hairdresser, get my hair cut, like people do sometimes. And my hairdresser moved buildings, but she hadn't really been there. She'd only been there like once or twice, and she always goes through the back. And she thought, because this is a modern city, that there would be wheelchair access, but there actually wasn't. And she didn't realize that, and she felt so horrible. So instead of me just saying, okay, screw you, like, man, like I'm never gonna talk to you again, I'm gonna go somewhere else, I just remained calm, and I brought it to the owner's attention. And I'm just like, yeah, like there's foldable ramps that you can have, in a back closet that you can bring out, when need be, or so on. There's things that you can do to create access,
But
and now they have a ramp.
for people watching, how do you keep your cool when raising an issue?
Because if you don't, well, what I do is I don't look at it from my perspective. I don't look at it from, you know, my life was hurt, or my ego is hurt, or, they were against me. I look at the issue and I'm like, how can I help this for the next person? And I don't talk to the people at the store saying, oh, you suck, I need to come in here. My life matters. It's me, 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 me. I go, hey, this is the situation that I'm running into. I want to help the next person. What can we do for the next time, for the next person? I want to help all my other friends, out in the world who also are in wheelchairs. Like, what can we do for them? Because I'm not the only person. So what can we do for them? When I feel like when you're making it not about you, people tend to, listen a little bit more.
I really love that approach. And finally, is there anything you want to say as your final thought?
Um, I'm actually realizing now that we've been talking that I've had the wrong logo up the whole time. But I do actually, I work for I do some writing for Travelability, and I did a conference for them, so that's why I have this background.
Well,
But
if you send me the new logo, I'm pretty sure I can edit it
oh, cool.
in.
Sweet. Thank you. Yeah, no, that would be super cool. So final thoughts about traveling. Um Traveling doesn't have to be across the world. You can travel in your own backyard. If you are scared of, what access is going to be like and just wanting to get yourself comfortable, start locally. Just plan an overnighter, at the town, across the way, just so you can kind of get a feel for what accessible hotels are like, and what it's like to kind of be out on the road, and then you can kind of grow your confidence. But it's important to get yourself out there, whatever you love to do. Like museum, if you love art, if you love fast cars, if you love jungle animals, like whatever it is, whatever you're passionate about, like we have this beautiful world out here available to us. So if you're able to, like, go and see some of it, even if it's in your own backyard, even if it's in your own state. Get out there and see the world, because by doing that, you're going to expand yourself internally, and you're going to grow, and life will just keep getting better.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you very much.
You've been watching CripChat